Centrists are hated by the left and disdained by the right. They are called smug, cowardly, dishonest, indecisive, and unable to hold, let alone defend, a strong political opinion. But there are various kinds of centrists. In this short video, I will discuss 4 interesting types. Number 1, the moderate centrist. The moderate takes a position in the middle between the left and the right. He says something like, if the left wants many LGBTQ rights and the right wants none, then I want some. If the left wants more multiculturalism and the right wants less, then I want about as much as we currently have. Moderate centrism varies from being wise to being completely unacceptable. It may be a good rule of thumb to always look for an Aristotelian middle way, because usually everyone can teach you something and nobody has figured it all out perfectly. As a categorical principle of compromise, however, moderate centrism leads to a ludicrous position where one's own opinion becomes an uncritical function of the opinions of others. If one party says we need to exterminate all Jews and another says we should not kill any Jews, then the middle way of killing some Jews is obviously not a golden mean. In general, the categorically moderate centrist will find his opinions passively shifting with fluctuating ideological trends, and he will often run into problems with slippery slopes. In many cases though, and especially in the way I've presented it here, the moderate centrist might be nothing but a straw man. Or he might be a pragmatist, which is to say an opportunist, which is to say solution-oriented, which is to say unprincipled, which is to say that the framing effect is a bitch. Number 2, the phony centrist. The phony uses selective facts, unstigmatized talking points, uncontroversial values, and neologisms to mask his radical ideology. He might say, I'm not a liberal, but please consider this selection of facts that prove that women are still oppressed by the patriarchy, and this selection of facts, and these and that. Or he might say, I'm not a fascist, but we should be free to discuss the ethnic composition of globalist elites. Consider, however, that some people put into the phony category are genuinely more interested in truth than in politics, or they might actually be selective centrists. I'll discuss them in a second, but first, number 3, the Straw-Manning Centrist. The straw-manner claims that his position is more prudent than the opinions he ascribes to the left and the right, unaware that these ascriptions are caricatures or fringe beliefs. He's the guy who says, I'm a centrist because I advocate neither the elimination of gender differences nor the enforcement of medieval gender roles. Or, I'm a centrist because I want our national borders neither to be uncontrolled nor to be closed to everyone. The current rise of this form of centrism is a result of social media activists consistently misrepresenting their ideological enemies. If the straw-manning centrist is not ignorant about what people on the left and right actually believe, he is a phony. If he educates himself and stops straw-manning, he may become a moderate or a selective centrist. Number 4, the selective centrist. The selectivist may have radical views on certain topics, but he's not ideologically attached to the left or the right. His opinion, and sorry for this ugly representation here, might sound something like, I'm socially liberal but viscerally conservative, or I'm pro-immigration but against gay rights, or vice versa. Of course, the positions of real selectivists are much more nuanced, but all I'm trying to communicate here is that the selective centrist can have strong political opinions without simply adopting the positions of an ideological tribe. His main aim is not to fit in with a group, but to focus on specific topics and solutions separately, rather than in ideological bundles. This is centrism beyond the left-right divide. In reality, however, the left and the right are not arbitrary conglomerates of opinion. They are usually rooted in relatively consistent moral principles that provide a guiding thread. For example, the principles of empathy and equality on the left, and the principles of order and loyalty on the right. Therefore, the selective centrist will have to have a quite uncommon moral sentiment. For some, the fundamental moral principle is freedom, but freedom alone is empty, and if completely unregulated, unable to maximize human flourishing, which is why utilitarianism might be a better guiding principle for selective centrists.